Women have to take ownership and stop blaming others. We are this lifetime here to change the trajectory of women in the future. And that means you have to heal your heart and heal things that happened to you, but also to your ancestors. It's your job to do the work. And when you do the work, you heal the past and you open the path for the next generation.
Hello, welcome to Women Awakening. I'm your host, Cynthia James, and this is where women from around the world share their wisdom and courage to shape a more conscious, compassionate world. This is a time when women are emerging, and I want to invite our listeners to step into their voices, their gifts, their leadership, and their power to create meaningful change. Today, we're going to explore the conversation of when leaders grow from the inside out. So if this show resonates, subscribe, share, and leave a comment, and it helps our voices have a further reach. And you can also connect with me at cynthiajames.net. Now, I want you to meet our guest today. Esther Wildenberg is committed to empowering women while leaving us this sustainable legacy today and for the next generation. She's a global executive leader, entrepreneur, and co-founder and president of Codebreaker Technologies, the world leader in personality coding technology. We will be talking about that. And she's a former CEO by age 33, and she's spent over 20 years leading companies across industries and continents. And Esther empowers leaders to build sustainable success by integrating business excellence with spiritual intelligence, creating real, lasting impact from the inside out. Ooh, Esther, welcome. I am so glad that you're here.
I'm excited to be here. Thank you, Cynthia.
Okay, well, I want to start, because you probably didn't drop on the planet, knowing that you were going to be a world changing CEO. So, how did you grow up? Where did you grow up?
I grew up in the Netherlands in Voorburg, is like a subtown of The Hague, like 45 minutes south of Amsterdam. I think everybody knows Amsterdam, so let's put it as a pointing area people can relate. I grew up in a family with a twin sister, a younger sister, and my parents. Middle class family, nothing very specific. As most kids, we get, kind of directed in a certain direction. You should be doing this, or you're really good in this. And so I ended up in the dentistry world and I was absolutely miserable. you know, that, you know, I tried to like it, because they thought I was really good at it. And, so being good at something doesn't mean it's your passion. They're two different things. So I had an accident with two motorcycles, ended up in the hospital, a 3-year rehab, and it basically stopped my career in the industry. And I've never been sad about it. My parents were sad about it, but I wasn't. So it just opened my eyes after two near death experiences where I got a really clear message that I was here to empower women to step into their power at a young age and not wait until they're empty nesters or divorce or bankruptcy or cancer diagnosis or loss of their spouse. Or, people have to go through certain heartbreaking moments before they wake up to what they really want. And I had that message, but I was 23 years old. I'm like, okay, how I'm gonna do that?
Yeah,
And that's
yeah.
how I got in my career. And I did so many things in my career, but everything served me really well to become who I am today. So I don't regret anything on my path. So yeah, I knew I had to learn a lot before I could actually be that voice. So, but right
So,
now
so
I'm 51, so I'm ready.
looking good too, by the way. So, here's the thing though. What I found with a lot of clients, podcast guests, and in my own life is sometimes what looks like a tragedy is a pivot point.
Yes,
It's
it is.
it's a
It
place
always
where,
is.
yeah, when that stuff drops in. And so, what I love is that you listened and that you took action. So, I want to talk about. I mean, you by 33, which was like 10 years later,
Mhm.
you had been doing all of this stuff with companies and supporting women. I wanna know, Did you know how to do this stuff, or did you just start
No,
taking steps?
no, I did not know. It's not that I had a pivotal download and here you go. I read a lot of books. I did a lot of seminars and courses, and Tony Robbins has been one of my very close mentors along the way. So many things happened. I took on every opportunity to move up on the ladder in my career, but I also knew that I didn't want to be in a job, But you need to be at a certain point in life that you're ready for entrepreneurship, and I knew I had to do certain things and I've had a lot of patience, so I had to pace myself. So where I also had a lot of different jobs, but I always leveled up to the next level in my career. So it serves me really well. But no, I had to learn the hard way. I don't think there's anything like skipping steps at all. I just did the work and I chose every single time I wanted to do something bigger and better. And I have to become better so I can step into that role. And I like a challenge. Otherwise I get bored. So I always challenge myself to something that feels like the funniest thing is when I got hired for this consulting company in the corporate world, Fortune 500, my whole resume didn't make any sense, right? There was the dentistry and then a gap of 3 years of rehab. And then I went into the fitness industry running a fitness center, like had nothing to do with anything. And then I applied for a corporate business unit director job in a Fortune 500 company. And they're looking at me. There was a female CEO. She says, "Your resume really doesn't make any damn sense." And I said, "You're totally right." I said, "But you're gonna hire me on my personality and my drive. You're not gonna hire me on a piece of paper." And she looked at me like, "Dang." Because
Yes.
if you can go through a rehab at a young age and pivot yourself out of it and I love to play sports. I like to win. And she says, "I'm going to hire you based on, right, your personality." And she gave me 6 months and I crushed it. And I asked her to become my personal mentor. And she did. And that's how I really grew in the corporate world. But I also knew that was not for me for a long term. It's
Well
not.
well, first of all, I love your level of confidence and clarity because that's also what she hired. Because you
Yeah.
were very clear in that room, "This is who I am, and I can bring it. Give me a shot." And so she did. When I was looking at your resume, it said, "Your passion is people,
Hmm.
and your mission is to equip and empower people to manifest their own greatness in business and in life." And you talked about young women before they get in the transition of older times, but I wanna know, when women come to you and they've got a passion, but they're clueless and maybe a little resistant to taking steps that are uncertain, how do you work with them?
Every step is uncertain. Even staying stuck in your chair is very uncertain. It feels maybe comfortable for a moment, but then you look at your life and your bank account and it's creates uncomfort. So I was very insecure as a child. Very insecure. Low self-esteem. I didn't speak up at all. I didn't want to raise my hand in the classroom. I went through a long term when I was just hiding. And don't ask me any questions. Don't talk to me. Just talk to my twin sister. And so, but after my accident, it transitioned. I had this like huge, like, turning point in my life. And I really had to step up in all those areas. And when I talked to women, I said, we all have moments in time that we pivot and some do. I'm grateful I was very young, 23, but most women have that pivotal moment in their 40s or 50s
Right.
because we come from ancestors and the generations where it's tradition. Okay, you go to school, but then you get married and you become parents and you become a mom, and that's your main focus. Although we're living in the time that my generation, of course, all moms and women I know are working in
Amen.
whatever capacity they are. They became more independent. So I tell them we can create clarity at any time, but first we have to find what are you really passionate about? Because a lot of women don't even know what they're passionate about or what their purpose is. And sometimes their purpose is being a great mom. So we have this outside world that we all have this magical big purpose in this lifetime, but not everybody does. Some people are just their purpose is to have a beautiful family and be the most amazing mom they can be. And that's all they desire. And that's okay. So I want to put it out there because You're not failing in life if you're not having a big purpose or passion for anything outside that environment. So that's how I
Building a
started.
company,
Because there's
right?
a lot of pressure from the outside that we all have to do a big thing this lifetime, right?
Yeah.
Uh, but when they know they have something inside of them that they want to create and whatever or want to do they've never done. And it's the same thing then in the education space. Right? If I look at all my friends I have and the women I've met, like 99% is not doing what they're educated for. So, don't worry about your education. Along the way, you will find your path. And so I do some exercises to create clarity. I ask questions. My number one question is, you don't know your expiration dates. So let me tell you have 1 year to live. What would you be doing this next year to really make the impact you're telling me you want to make? And that is a deep question. Says, oh, I will travel and take pictures and post them and put them in artwork. Or I always wanted to be a speaker. And I said, then it's time to start talking right now. Start a podcast or a YouTube channel or do a speaker class and just get on some stages and small events. And then you can do a lot in a year if you're focused. So it's a deep question. And I let them write their own funeral letter. Not
Oh, I love that.
And that is a painful one because I tell them you cannot write about all the amazing things you accomplished. You're going to write about all the things you didn't accomplish and didn't do and you always wanted to do. And that creates so much clarity. So, I let them do the work. I just guide them in the process.
It's incredible. Well, I wanna know, what is Codebreaker Technology? Because when I read this, it was like the world leader in
Yes.
personality coding technology. Okay, what the heck is that?
So my wife and I own Codebreaker Technologies. It started off as a training speaking company. My wife is one of the top female keynote speakers in the world. So when I met her in Amsterdam, I bought her program. So it was a conference with Tony Robbins and Robert Kiyosaki and Les Brown and then Sherry Tree, my wife.
Yeah.
And we met. I bought her program for my business. It was based in personality science to predict buying behavior. Why are people saying yes versus no? And there's 4 personality types. Our assessment is 90 seconds or less. Our AI can do it in a split second, tell exactly your personality type, and then how to communicate with this person to get the appointment or get the yes in the sales process. So that's why we're the number one. We're speaking around the world. We have clients in 100 countries plus, and we have subscription model. We have certification program that people want to teach this and make an extra stream of income. And we're still speaking everywhere. We have training, we have certification, and then the technology is the assessment tool and the AI we created. So, and our AI is humanizing humans, not making them more disconnected and tech savvy. Our AI helps people to communicate more effectively, deeper, and really have a real connection and not just some, disconnected version we got used to over the past decade. So,
Wow, that's incredible, and I love humanizing AI because, there's so much isolation on the planet in this moment, and
yeah, and it's only gonna get worse.
yes, yeah, exactly. So, okay, you got this career, you got this wife who has a career, you got this company. How do you find time to take care of yourself?
That's a routine.
Uh,
So in the morning, I wake up at 5 a.m., do my meditation, journaling, some reading. Then I take my son to school. He's 5 years old. We have a 5-year-old son. So I take care of him, get him dressed, breakfast, drive to school, talk to him about life, the things that is going on in his mind. And then I go on an hour beach walk with my dog to really listen to the beauty of the waves and nature and what the message is for today. And then I jump in my day. Then I do my business, and then we have a full-time nanny, so she will pick up Kai from school. But then as soon as he's home, I drop everything and spend time with him. Dinner, bath, playing. I was on stage, and they asked me, "Women are struggling by doing it all. They want it all, but how are they gonna do it all?" And I said, I must say, when Kai was born in 2020 in the middle of COVID, um, it was hard. It's an identity crisis I went through, like, "Oh my gosh, I was a businesswoman and a spouse, and now I'm a mom, and that takes up all my energy and time.
oh,
How am
absolutely.
I gonna So I became very intentional on planning my life. So my calendar, it's like literally planned. Every 15 minutes is planned. And if you're not on my calendar, you're just not gonna get take up my space. And I say no to a lot of things. My social media time is way less. They're just, yeah, choices you have to make, but it's only going to happen when you choose you first. And I also tell people after me, you come first, meaning if I don't take care of myself and be in my happy space, I cannot be the greatest I can be that day as a partner, as a mom, in business, for my clients.
So, Esther, I wrote a book called I Choose Me: The Art of Being a Phenomenally Successful Woman at Home and at Work. That was exactly what you said because we were property till the early 1900s and we're taught take care of everybody else first. So
Yeah.
I love that you schedule it every 15 minutes to know what you're gonna do and that you have that you time in the morning. I do the very same thing. It's like the first 2 hours of my day are all about spiritual practice and taking care of me.
Yeah, it's so important. And yeah, we get sucked up in things that people want my time early. Now, when it's international, I will make exceptions. It's not like that I'm that hardcore, but I try to really, and also it's in my book. I put it in my book. Like, really, I put my whole calendars in my book.
Oh, that's okay, say it ag read the book title.
It's The Undermined Soul.
Okay,
It's
love
a
it.
transformational leadership book. And it's a very personal book. I wrote a lot, all the stories are personal and authentic and true. Very vulnerable, some of them, but they're all the lessons learned to really give people shortcuts with some exercises how to um, and do it all. Like it's a big topic for women. How do I manage freaking my whole life? Because I want to be a business owner or an entrepreneur. I want to be a great partner. I want to be an amazing mom, and I need time for myself. And how do I do it? So I worked it out in my book, and it's when women come to my retreats, it's a really big part what I talk with them about to get really in line between their soul, their heart, and their mind, and then put it in practical steps to really take action every single day. But it has to be planned. What's not planned is just never gonna happen.
Exactly, life will take over. So I
Yeah,
wanna know
especially
how
the time we're living in. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. How do people find you?
They can go to my website, estherwildenberg.com, or they can send me an email at esther@codebreaker.ai. Esther, Esther, at codebreaker, codebreaker.ai.
I love that. Well, I ask the same last question of every guest. This show is called Women Awakening. What do you think is the most important thing about women awakening on the planet in this moment?
That women have to take ownership and stop blaming others. We are this lifetime here to change the trajectory of women and the future. And that means you have to heal your heart and heal things that happened to you, but also to your ancestors. It's your job to do the work. And when you do the work, you heal the past and you open the path for the next generation.
Wow, couldn't have said it better. I mean, wow. Yeah. The thing about it is like so many of us have been brought up to think that we're victims of someone or something else instead of knowing that we have the power within us to choose the life that we want. Well, Esther, you
100%.
are a delight. And of course, you're successful because the warmth within you is just like a magnet. So I am so grateful that you came. I'm so grateful that you're doing what you're doing and that you and your wife are changing the world for women. I just think it's extraordinary. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. You're such a beautiful soul. So you light my day today.
Oh, thank you. Okay, ladies, this is what I want to say to you. I am very grateful that you were here today for Women Awakening. You know, if today's episode inspired you, and I can't imagine why it wouldn't, please let me know in the comments what stood out for you the most, right? Please be sure to subscribe and share with a woman who needs to hear it. You can also connect with me and explore my coaching at cynthiajames.net. I just want you to know that what Esther said, there was something really powerful because what she described today is all the stuff she's gone through to connect from the inside and bring it out to be a change maker in the world. You can do the exact same thing because you're powerful, you're dynamic, you're mighty, and you're here for a purpose. I really am grateful that you're here. Thanks for watching Women Awakening, and I really look forward to seeing you on the next show. Much love.